Next presenter is Kellen O'Keefe, the Chief Strategy Officer for Flower One Holdings. Kellen, when you're ready.
Great. Thank you very much, Rachel. Can you guys hear me okay? Just making sure. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for coming. My name is Kellen O'Keefe. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of Flower One. We are the largest cultivator and producer and manufacturer and full-service brand fulfillment partner in the state of Nevada and soon to be California and beyond. We have a very unique history at Flower One that stems from years of operational excellence in the greenhouse space. Our team has a proven track record of delivering some of the highest performing and yielding greenhouses in the world. We have a very unique business model that focuses on being a truly full-service, end-to-end, vertically integrated brand fulfillment partner. Unlike other companies, we're not focused on retail. We are focused on truly providing a seed-to-shelf solution for both brands and retailers alike. And that makes Flower One very different from other MSOs, or what we now refer to us as a multi-state brand operator, which again, sorry for the acronyms, but again, I think it's important to differentiate where Flower One is comparatively to other what are referred to as vertically integrated cannabis companies. The picture you see behind us, probably more cannabis than most of us have seen in one individual photo. That photo is actually from August of 2019. Again, this greenhouse is the largest producing in the state of Nevada, and as you can see, no small feat. I'll get through the disclaimers. This timeline here takes us from the start of construction at Flower One and shows what we were able to accomplish in a very, very short period of time. In less than a year and a half, we took the site from what was a cucumber facility producing cocktail cucumbers for Costco in North Las Vegas into what is again now the largest producing facility in the state of Nevada. We're producing roughly 3,000 to 5,000 pounds a week of flower testing above 30% out of a greenhouse. This is an incredible accomplishment, and the time and the speed in which we were able to deliver this and convert this facility from a cucumber facility to the cannabis facility that you see, again, is, I believe, a record in the world of cannabis and something that we're incredibly proud of. We just now recently were able to license the facility in Q3, for example, and we have seen incredible results. One of our brand partners, for example, in Old Pal, is now the number one flower brand in the state of Nevada. We've done that, again, in just 2 to 3 months of the greenhouse actually being licensed to sell product. So again, taking a look at what we offer, we are not vertically integrated. We provide everything from cultivation, extraction, manufacturing, and then on to distribution and sales and marketing. We do this to be able to service both the retailers and the brands. Most brands in cannabis are unable to find scalable fulfillment partners or contract manufacturing that actually suits their needs. Oftentimes they're competing with vertically integrated companies that are looking to launch their own brands. What we're able to do is, again, offer a solution that doesn't compete and provides a service both to the brands and retailers alike. Again, taking a look at the value proposition that we're able to offer to both the brands and the retailers. From a brand standpoint, we can offer speed and ease of entry into the market. We eliminate the high cost of capital that would be required for a brand to enter a market. So a brand partner can come to Nevada and we can bring them to market in probably 2 to 3 months, mostly based on the time it takes them to get their packaging approved. And we can do so simply at the cost of their marketing or branding expenses coming into the market. So you're looking at, several $100,000 versus potentially what could be up to $15 to $20 million for a brand to attempt to come into a state and vertically integrate. And then we likewise offer a very strong value proposition to retailers. Not only are we able to offer them the best brands in the space, but we're also able to offer them white label solutions. Those white label solutions allow us to manufacture products such as house brands for the leading retailers in the space. And in exchange for doing so, they will continue to support all of Flower One's offerings. That includes the premium brands that we bring to market as well as their own house brands. And then third and finally, we also, due to our large-scale production, have the ability to offer wholesale biomass and distillate. That gives us an opportunity to, again, service the vertically integrated MSOs or large-scale operators that have some form of vertical integration, but have still not been able to scale their cultivation. So in a lot of cases, they actually want to procure biomass in order to be able to make products of their own. So we actually have kind of 3 tiers or 3 buckets, if you will, of product, ranging from the branded product at the top, where we capture the most margin, to that middle category, which is, again, white label products for the retailers. And then third, and in the final category, we have the opportunity to do wholesale. So this is very attractive for us and gives us a unique ability to service both brands and retailers without competing with them. So again, I mentioned a little bit before, we have over 25 years of experience building some of the largest greenhouses in the world. This allows us to take a very, very strategic look at the way we look at markets and where we decide to operate. Not only are we taking into account the cannabis market itself, but we're looking at the population, we're looking at the market dynamics, the number of licenses, and the size of the addressable market. And then beyond that, we take a very, very close look at the sites themselves. Things like power, tax, accessibility to labor. All of these things are very, very important to us. And I think I didn't mention climate, which of course many cannabis operators are learning is of course very, very important to ability to operate a greenhouse. So taking a look at where we've started and where we're going, between California and Nevada, we believe we are in 2 of the most significant cannabis markets in the world. Not only due to the size of those markets, but we think the markets themselves are very attractive and have a very specific need for what we're bringing. So very, very excited to be, again, the largest producer in Nevada, and hopefully be able to take that again and replicate that in California, as well as some of the eastern states that we're taking a very close look at. There are market dynamics in eastern states where you have a number of dispensaries coming online, a limited amount of cultivation, or in some cases a shortage of flower, which again is something that we are going to take a very, very close look at Flower One, given our positioning and what we're able to produce. So why Nevada? People often ask us why we started with Nevada. I think Nevada is one of the most attractive, if not the most attractive cannabis market in the world, due to not only the size of the market, the addressable population, if you include tourists, but also due to the market dynamics. There's a limited number of licenses in Nevada, and for us, it was extremely attractive because there were absolutely no commercial greenhouses in the state of Nevada either. So as the first greenhouse operator in the state, we have the ability to produce at a quality and a price point that is significantly lower than our competition in the state. Year-over-year market growth in Nevada is over 20%. We expect 2024 cannabis sales to be north of $1.5 billion, and I believe the 2030 number is so alarming we decided to take it off. But we actually believe that Nevada is going to be very, very competitive and close to California relative to the revenue that the program is able to generate. So this is a little bit of a summary of our actual footprint in Nevada. We have a 400,000 square foot greenhouse, as you see here today. That is our flagship facility. It is attached to a brand new 55,000 square foot production facility. That is the largest production facility in the state. And again, gives us the ability to process using a variety of different extraction methods to convert that into a wide variety of finished products. Due to our acquisition of NLVO, we were also able to acquire a small indoor facility. That indoor facility is currently 25,000 square feet today, and we have plans to actually add a 40 to 50,000 square foot commercial kitchen and manufacturing space onto that site as well. So we'll be expanding our production to include about 50 to 60,000 more square feet of commercial kitchen space. That will give us the ability to continue to produce for a number of leading edible brands in the space, as well as bring beverage capabilities and beverage lineups to the state of Nevada as well. So we're very excited to get that online. Currently today, we have a long list of brand partners that are waiting for us to onboard these facilities to enter the market. So very, very exciting times for us. We have, as you can see at the end, a very growing list of brand partners that I'll get into here in just a moment. This is a little busy to read, and I won't stick on it long because I understand this was not designed necessarily for you guys to be able to read in the back of the room. But just a few key stats that I think are very, very important for everyone to recognize and really distinguish Flower One from the competition. Our annual production is at a minimum of around 140,000 pounds. We can easily add to that or step on the gas, if you will, and convert that to somewhere like 270,000 pounds. So we have a significant production capacity. And then again, to really note right to the right of that is our average cash cost per gram. At 45 cents, we are lower than any public company in cannabis. And we believe, again, that is the lowest cost of production in North America. Really good problem to have, one that's kind of unique to us. We went over our original design capacity by 85%. That means we actually expected to produce less cannabis, to have more die-off, and again, a good problem to have. We ended up with very little of that. And that resulted in us having some excess supply in the beginning relative to things like our drying capacity and others. So we've had to make unique, fast adjustments and are in the process and have done so very quickly to be able to accommodate all of the flower that we have. And again, that's the key for us to onboarding all of our brand partners and building out our commercial kitchen, which again gives us more outlets for all of that product. One key fact also I'll point out here is our relationship with the Dennis Group. For those of you that are familiar, the Dennis Group is one of the most successful design and build firms in the country, producing facilities for Kraft Foods, Procter & Gamble, Diageo, and the likes. So we're very proud to have an exclusive with them in cannabis that has allowed us to execute on that build and design as quickly as we did. And we're also now working with them on our new projects for states like California and beyond. And last and not least, again, the distribution, sales, and marketing, which I also kind of incorporate back into the branding in our brand partnership program. Our goal is to make sure that we are working with only the best brands in cannabis. We want to work with the brands that capture and have the most demand, the most significant demand across all markets, and also capture the most significant margin. Right? So brands have to do what brands do, which is, capture more than that of a generic product. And so we have targeted and found and are now working with the best brands in the space in every category at nearly every price point. And that's something that's very important to us as we look to offer service both to the retailers and then again helping those brands scale from market to market. Some of the brands we've been fortunate enough to work with or in the process of working with, actually all of these are now official brand partners. As I mentioned, Old Pal, the #1 flower brand in the state of Nevada, a very, very successful brand out of California. We've been very fortunate to work with them, and they've been a great launch pad for us for the greenhouse. We also have several other California brands, Palms, now Cookies coming on board, 22 Red. Some of these are, I think, in Cookies, for example, you have one of the most in-demand cannabis brands in the world. We've seen incredible traction with that brand. Their merchandise alone does over $25 million in sales on an annual basis. And one of the things I make jokes about relative to brand strength from my previous life in working with other large CPG brands is you look at fundamental sales, right, or accessory sales, and merchandise is one of them. And then the other thing that you look at for really a mark of or a badge value for the brand is tattoos. It's a crazy thing. It's crazy to think of, but in reality, there are thousands of people that have thousands of people with Cookies tattoos or the logo tattooed all over their body. And these are not just die-hard consumers, but in fact, in one case, we found a Latin American pop star with over 1 million followers on Instagram was the largest merchandise producer and has several tattoos of the brand all over himself. So an international brand that has, again, a significant demand is tied to premium genetics. So all very exciting things. And what's really special about that from a Flower One perspective is that Cookies takes their production partners very seriously, and they will only put their stamp on flower that they believe is of a certain quality. And for Flower One to be able to go and find the best genetics partner and the best brand in the world and get their stamp of approval to enter a new market is a very meaningful accomplishment and one that I think the team at Flower One and myself are very proud of. As you can see, some brands will come and go. We recognize that. We recognize that this is very early in the cannabis brand landscape. And again, our goal is to set up a program that services the brands that are selling the most and create the most demand. So we will, without question, have a constantly rotating circle of brands, or group of brands, but we hope that we pick some winners that are able to come from market to market with us, or that ones that have already shown their ability to go from market to market and create significant demand. So this is a little bit of insight into what we refer to as finished goods production economics. And this is a very clean snapshot as to what it looks like to be a cultivator or wholesaler of biomass or a liter of distillate versus converting that product into finished packaged goods, such as a vape cartridge or a gummy or a quick strip. As you can see, 1 liter of distillate, the current wholesale price for a liter of distillate, to give you perspective, in Nevada is somewhere between probably $12,000 and $14,000 a liter. So as attractive as it is to sell that at a significant markup from our $5,000 cost, as you can see, if we convert that into vape cartridges or gummies or quick strips, an even lower dosed edible, we're able to capture significantly more margin and gross margin dollars, which is of course very important to us. This is a little bit of a peek into our sales. We're not providing actual guidance, but there are some clues on here that would give one insight into what the launch of our greenhouse facility has done for us from a sales perspective and where we expect to go as we continue to launch additional brands. Part of that, again, is due to the fact that we are bringing some of the biggest brands in cannabis into the market, and again, expanding our capabilities to make a wider variety of products versus what we currently make or have made in the past. So that will continue to grow month over month as we launch more and more brands, and we expect sales to ramp accordingly. I'd love to show you guys a little video if we can, and let's make sure, let's see. All good, but again, moving on to California. So some of you might have seen that our plans to expand beyond Nevada were announced recently. We do have plans to go into the state of California, given that it's the largest cannabis market in the world. We think it's important to be there. It's important for our brands that we are there as well. And that's something that oftentimes people are a little bit taken back by. Doesn't California have endless supply? Isn't that, no. The reality is California does not. If you look at any leaders in the brand categories of California, they are all challenged by supply. They've only been able to scale based on their abilities to navigate the black market. And that has been a real challenge. And now that you look to the top 5 brand partners that are all looking to, or the top 5 brands, I should say, in the state of California, all of them are looking for consistent supply. On a number of cases, and one in particular, one brand has over 20 people on their procurement team buying product for one brand to scale in the state. We believe that's outrageous. That's a very difficult way to scale a business. Not to mention, all of that product is inconsistent. It's not priced the same every time. It's not the same material every time. Testing results are a problem. So we're seeing a number of issues that lead us to believe that California is the perfect market for us to enter, and our brand partners continue to drive that fact home for us and actually tell us we can't get there fast enough. So we have plans to get to California and get to California quickly. We're going to do something special in California that will give us the ability to replicate our efforts with the greenhouse, which again will produce the absolute premium with regards to the quality. Oftentimes you hear a lot about indoor versus greenhouse. At Flower One, we believe that the greenhouse will actually surpass indoor when it comes to quality. The power of the sun with a fully controlled environment should give us the ability to do that. You know, there's no question it will continue to take time, but what I've seen in the last few months in Nevada alone make me feel very comfortable that we're well on our way to being able to do so. And obviously when it comes to the cost of production, as you've seen, the cost of production in a greenhouse for that hopefully comparable quality is going to be significantly lower, making it a very difficult or very an easy choice, in my opinion, for consumers to pick a comparable product that is priced probably, you know, half the price. In addition to California being special for the size of the market and the demand there, it also has a couple of variables or factors that are very special for us. We have the ability to do outdoor in California in the Central Coast, in addition to our high quality greenhouse or high-tech greenhouse that will give us the ability to produce biomass at the lowest possible price point, in addition to having the premium quality levels. So by having both of those production or both of those cultivation methods available to us, we believe that we will without question be the lowest cost supplier of both biomass and brand fulfillment. So in you know, looking at the size of California, again, largest cannabis market in the world, and we believe that we're very well positioned to come service that market with our offering and our brand partners. Little look into our team, again, composed of some of the most accomplished greenhouse operators in the world. Myself as a cannabis expert and veteran, I believe we've joined together some of the most talented people in cannabis to be able to bring Flower One to life and bring our value proposition to the brands alike. So I think with that, I would love to open it up to Q&A and appreciate. I think we have one question coming from the first. The starter will be the OTC, and then we'll have. Perfect.
Yeah, so we have one question from the Virtual Investor Conference. How competitive is your 45-cent cost per gram?
I believe that is the lowest cost recorded in North America, and by any public company that we are aware of. So from our standpoint, it is in fact the lowest and most competitive.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. It's very impressive, and I think a lot lower than even some of the really large Canadian companies. So what's your secret? How do you get that low cost?
Our secret is in our team, and again, our team's ability to design and operate what I believe to be the most high-tech greenhouses in the world. So you know, our facility in Nevada was a conversion, so it probably is missing some of the technical components that our custom build in California will have. But nevertheless, I still believe it is the most high-tech facility that I have walked through in all of cannabis, especially when you take production into account. Because I do believe that in cannabis we're seeing a lot of money spent to make something appear, you know, fancy or shiny or automated. But in fact, I believe it's our team's use of technology and human capital that makes us really special. And again, I really believe that goes into our culture as an organization, because it is the people that make the business work, and we believe we have a culture that's second to none in cannabis as well.
But something you can recreate in other states as well.
Absolutely.
It's nothing about Nevada in particular.
No, in fact, Nevada would probably be more challenging, you know, for a variety of reasons, from climate to others, than actually California will be for us.
Thanks. Awesome. Thanks.
Hello, just a question. Have you seen any change in your vaping sales since the vaping scare?
We have not, in particular. In Nevada, we have not seen it dip at all. And I have a lot of insight into the leading dispensaries and their numbers as a partner in some of those companies. But what we've seen is that vape sales are not actually lowering the total sales at all, but actually making a transition from from vaporizer sales into flower and edibles. So while we saw that, potentially somewhere what I'm hearing across the board is a 5 to 10% drop in California in vape sales, that was made up for in both the flower category and the edible and beverage categories. So mostly a transition. I believe it's a real opportunity for the legal market to differentiate itself from the black market. Most of the concerns around VapeGate really came from whether it was the tobacco industry and very organized campaign attacks to discredit members within the tobacco industry, or what are actually real significant problems on the black market. And so I just participated in a public service announcement to try to encourage people to buy legally. I believe that's really important. There's no question, in order to trust what you're consuming, it needs to be regulated and tested. And I believe that this is an incredible opportunity for the industry to kind of join forces and try to create regulations in the name of consumer protection. Oh, sorry, you passed one guy there.
Yeah, I'm like fascinated or always skeptical of some of the market stats. You said that this is going to be a $30 billion U.S. market in 2024. Is that correct? Is that a stat you had at the beginning?
We're not making these stats up. We are citing references.
I'm not saying that, but I just want to understand.
Yeah, I think it's ArcView or Cowen.
A couple questions. What's your addressable or accessible piece of that 30 billion, and any idea what that market is today in comparison to the 30 billion you expect?
I could go into California and Nevada. So 2019 cannabis sales in Nevada are on track, or we're over 639 million. I believe they've already passed a run rate for 750 million this year. And again, if you look at California, over 3.1 billion in 2019 for California, and what is our potential within those states?
Well, when you say when you had a slide that said 30 billion in 2024, I thought in the U.S. And in the beginning, Jason and Richard talked about, and this could be totally apples and oranges, and I'm not paying close enough attention. They talked about a 60 billion market that used to be 100 billion. Now they could have been talking something completely different. They're talking worldwide. Sure. But I'm trying to, every time I hear a presentation, frankly, I see different market stats, and I just want to get on the same page.
I think they were talking about. Well,
yeah. That's what I thought. And so there was 200 companies, 100. So that's on average, 2 billion market cap per company. That's pretty large.
I actually believe they're talking about the size of the total cannabis market, but a lot of times where you don't get a clear answer is whether or not that is the legal cannabis market, or that whether or not that number includes the black market.
So you're talking about your cultivation slice of it when you're talking about all these market stats, right? Your addressable piece. Right, because you're not seed to sale.
No,
right?
Correct. So what we're in that particular stat, to be clear, that stat is, I believe, addressing the national cannabis market.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
The question I would really ask is, if I were really trying to understand that number, does that number include both the legal market and the black market, or just the legal market? Because it's an ArcView or a BDS analytics stat, my guess is that is the estimate for the legal market. I would guess that the black market included would be somewhere around that 70 to 80 billion dollar number you hear globally.
Final question. So Kellen, really impressive stats on the production cost, but was just curious about the quality of that.
Sure.
I think you'd mentioned a potency factor that was, I almost fell out of my seat. Can you just mention that one more time?
Yes, we have flower that's tested at 34% and multiple strains testing above 30% out of a greenhouse.
Consistently. That's amazing. So with an Old Pal, which is kind of known in California to be the Budweiser or the Pabst Blue Ribbon, what are you putting in their packaging for selling in Nevada? You putting in the 30%?
To be clear, no. Again, because Old Pal is a value brand for us, they would not be getting the most expensive product we sell, but rather, towards the more affordable. So their product would probably be in the, more like the 18 to 24% range, somewhere in that range.
Still really good.
Yeah, still really good. And look, as a cannabis connoisseur, what we've seen is markets are heavily weighted or driven by potency in the beginning, and then actually move away from potency into quality and other, measuring terpenes and flavors and other effects.
Did you have a good time when you remember having that brand? I mean,
Precisely,
that's what it comes down to.
That's true. That's true as well.
And in Vegas, everyone's having a good time.
Right. And so we're working to make sure that we continue to have high potency product and fill out the demand for all of that product, but also have a diverse set of strains and flavors that actually cater to all of the different brands and all of the different taste palettes and profiles. So we're looking to be diversified, not just volume of one particular type. All set?
All set.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.